Hello and welcome to episode 9 of Nope, It's Only Trash Here podcast. The date today is the 7th of May 2013. So for this week it's going to be a bit different because unfortunately it's just me, so I'm only going to be doing a half an hour episode just looking at the gaming news because I'll be honest, May is always really busy for me, and like recently, from like last May I was okay with uploading videos and getting stuff done, but I've now uploaded or added so much to my schedule with the Let's Play channels, the reviews and the podcast, that now that I'm busy during May, I kind of can't, I just don't have enough time to get everything done. And also, I don't know if you can notice, but I've been a bit ill. And also, I don't think I can really compete with last week's episode. If you didn't check it out, it was me and Cal's Crazy. We did an hour and a half podcast. And, definitely go check it out. It's definitely an interesting one. So, I am going to be doing this one by myself, just because I was going to skip it completely, because pretty much in May, I'm a bit ill. It's exam week, or my last exam week. And it's my birthday on Sunday, so it's just kind of a bit mental. So hopefully next week it will be the solid 50 minutes to an hour or whatever it is. And hopefully this will be the last one I do by myself in a long time. So I know I've been saying that for a while, but I was going to skip out this week, so I thought, I might as well do one by myself rather than not do one at all, especially with all the big news. So last week one was really interesting because Cal's Crazy is a very opinionated guy. It was quite interesting to record because it was the first one where I wasn't like dictating everything. Like I was I had all the notes and I was directing it, as in like, hey, we're now talking about this. But it really was a case of me bringing up a topic and then just letting Cal's go, just letting him talk, letting him express what he wanted to express, and we got on a lot of good tangents and things like that. So the only point when I was stopping Cows was when we went onto a tangent that wasn't about games, because it is a gaming podcast. But enough about last week's podcast. Let's get into what's happening this week.
Gaming news.
So there's been some big kind of news announced, and arguably the biggest one was the announcement of the new Call of Duty. Now the reason why I say arguably is, well, not everyone cares about Call of Duty, if the internet is to be believed, but also because they didn't really announce that much. Pretty much it's called Call of Duty Ghosts. They've shown an image of the box art, which is some guy putting up half of a face mask, very reminiscent of Ghost, who was a character in Modern Warfare 2, who was also Gaz in Modern Warfare 1, and in Modern Warfare 3 you played as him. Pretty much, in case you don't know, in the Modern Warfare series there's a recurring character, but it's the same voice actor, but they're technically different characters. So in the first game it was Gaz, who has the shotgun, and then in the second game it was Ghost, who has the ghost mask on. And then in the third game you play as him in just like kind of a throwaway level in London. And it's a really cool level actually, So yeah, it was kind of similar to that. And there was a teaser trailer that was a live action trailer showing different warriors throughout the ages, gladiators, things like that. So then they cut to at the end showing ghosts, or, I don't know if they're SAS or if they're, Navy SEALs or whatever, but these soldiers, with ghosts on. So that's kind of not the teaser trailer was like, okay, whatever. It didn't really reveal anything about the game, and it's one of those things where the teaser trailer will probably make 10 times sense once they reveal the actual game itself, but at this point in time it's like, okay, sure, whatever, it's okay. So the interesting kind of tidbits that they released, the information, is that it's coming out on the 360, PS3 and PC on the 5th of November. So, the 5th of November, that's when they usually release them. It's always in that week. And in the UK, it's on the Tuesday. So, once again, I'll be buying it at midnight like I do all the other ones. Which I think I just revealed myself to being a massive Call of Duty fanboy with that statement. I just know I'm going to buy it. That's my main point with Call of Duty, I guess. Or at this stage, every year they announce it, and then you have the big build-up, and then they reveal more about it. And in the last few years, I haven't been excited about any of them, but I buy them anyway, and I enjoy them. So it's just a process. And I guess that's a problem people have with Call of Duty, that now it's just become a process, or just it's like, hey, this has been announced, go buy the new one, play some multiplayer, enjoy the campaign, done, move on with the next one. But I like that kind of routine to it, because they're all really well made, solid first person shooters, and I like the style, and they're really well made. Infinity Ward really know what they're doing, and Treyarch does a good job as well with adding in their own kind of spin on it. But what's interesting, okay, so with 360, PS3 and PC, it's really quite vague, because obviously with the 5th of November, that means around that time the new PS4 is going to get released, and the new Xbox. So at this stage it's not clear if it's going to come out on those consoles, but it's pretty much, they haven't announced it, but they pretty much will, from what I can tell, because of the fact that they said they're going to make a new engine for this one. This is the first time the engine has been completely different since Modern Warfare 1, because they made the engine for Modern Warfare 1 and then they just updated it every time. So if you kind of look at Modern Warfare 1 and then Black Ops 2, there actually is quite a lot of there is differences, because they updated it every time. So there is kind of different, and it's a really good engine. So whatever about that. But yeah, it's interesting that it is going to be a new engine, so obviously it's not going to feel the same as the other ones. And I think that's what people want. They want a game that feels different. I think that's just stupid, if you ask me. It's like, they're really good games. Why would you want something that feels different? Because of course, if this game is revealed and it's something completely different, then I'm going to have more interest in it, but it's a risk. If something is completely different, then it is definitely a risk. And then people are really happy to complain about, oh, it's different now, it's terrible. But, of course, when it doesn't change that much, then they'll be like, oh, whatever. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't go into the whole Call of Duty thing, but I don't know, the only thing that I'm kind of disappointed by is that they haven't announced it for Wii U, because I want it on Wii U. I don't know if I'm going to get a new Xbox or a PS4 yet, so obviously if I brought a PS4 or an Xbox, then I would get it on that, because it would be the best version of it. But I want it on Wii U if I'm going to get it on, like, this generation, or, that level of, I don't know. This is me trying to defend the Wii U secretly. I don't want to say that they're on the same level, or that Wii U isn't next gen, even though it kind of isn't. But yeah, if I want a version that's graphically capable, then I want the Wii U version, because I want the perks of it. But either way, I'll just get on 360 anyway. So it's kind of a bit of a redundant announcement, this whole Call of Duty Ghosts thing, because the actual reveal is on the 21st of May, and that is going to be alongside the new Xbox announcements on the exact same day, because of course Microsoft, I really don't like Microsoft anymore. I'm so sick of them, because I don't like how they handle exclusives, because now they're trying to make Call of Duty their franchise, and it's kind of really disheartening that they're doing it so much. And also with Microsoft, there were rumours, not confirmed. I don't know how true this is, but it sounds correct anyway. So I guess I'm going to choose to believe it. But yeah, I think there are reports and rumours that the reason why Rayman Legends got delayed is because to make Rayman Legends on the 360, part of the deal with Microsoft that Ubisoft had to make was that they had to release the Wii U version the same day as the 360 version. And then Sony didn't care. Sony was like, yeah, you can make it on the PS3. Then Microsoft were like, no, you have to release it on the same day. So I'm so against Microsoft at this point that they really have to pull something out of the bag for this. But I don't like that they just don't announce the new Call of Duty by itself, its own separate event. It just kind of implies that, I mean, Activision and Microsoft are two big companies, so, and I don't really blame Activision for this. I kind of just blame Microsoft. I don't know, this is a bit of a tangent, but yeah, pretty much I don't know who likes Microsoft at this point. Who's like, I really love the Kinect. Oh boy, I really hope the new console is an entertainment device. Wow, the new dashboard on the 360 is so awesome. Yay. I don't know, I think Microsoft are just they're just kind of fading out of popularity. But then, of course, all the tech guys will jump over to the new Xbox, but I don't know. So yeah, so that's Call of Duty Ghost. Really not that much has been announced that you couldn't guess yourself, but the big news to take out of this is that it's a new engine, and on the 21st of May we're going to see it be revealed on the new Xbox. So pretty much, yeah, that confirms that Call of Duty Ghost is going to be on the new Xbox as well as the 360. Right, so the next bit of news, it's not really news, I just kind of want to talk about it. It's GTA 5. I haven't talked about GTA 5 yet, because they kind of been releasing stuff here and there. But this week they released 3 new trailers showing off 3 separate characters. Now, GTA 5 I can't get excited for a similar reason why I don't get excited about the new Call of Duty. I know it's going to be good, and I'm going to buy it probably and play it and have a good time, but there's nothing about GTA 5 that makes me think I can't wait to play it. There's nothing about it that's kind of really interests me, and I think part of that is just because I play too many games, and I've been playing games for so long and just so many of them that it's just kind of, all of it's kind of been a bit got into a routine. So GTA 5 is going to be really good because I enjoyed GTA 4 and I do like Rockstar. I just don't love GTA. I thought San Andreas was pretty terrible. Because I didn't like sandbox games back on the PS2 days, because you had to create your own fun by just messing around with the sandbox, and I hate that. That's terrible. Why would I do that? If at this point in time I just play Minecraft. Then back then it was just like, this is really boring. It's like, I blew up that police car. Type in God mode. It's just really boring. It's like, I want an experience. I don't want to have to just mess around in a town. So that's why I never was that into GTA. But GTA 4 seemed to be a game that was the best of both worlds with that. You could mess around if you want, but it was also an enjoyable game. So GTA 5 looks like it's taking that same route. But there's this fact about GTA 5 that I think is really interesting, and apparently it's 3 times bigger than Red Dead Redemption was. Now, Red Dead Redemption isn't the biggest open world game on this generation, but it's definitely up there. It's very big. You got Mexico, and then you got America, but then you have the Blackwater as well. It's a very big game. But GTA 5 being 3 times bigger, that's really impressive, and I'm really interested to see just how big that is. But I think the fact that GTA 5 is that much bigger kind of implies that the 360 has been outdated for quite a while though. Like now, this isn't like a new thing that people have realised. People have kind of said that the 360 has been outdated for a while now. But it just shows that how rubbish the DVDs are, and that Blu-ray is just really 10 times better in every single way. Because with the 360, it's really frustrating buying certain games on the thing, because then you have like 3 discs, and I just don't want to do that anymore. Then in the Blu-ray, you just have all of it. Because also, it was announced that a couple of weeks ago, I think, that they're releasing a Metal Gear Solid Legacy collection, which is all the main games, which is the main 4 games, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then Peace Walker, and then I want to say a couple others maybe, just a load of stuff, just a big legacy collection of all of it. And it's only coming to PS3 because the 360, to put Metal Gear Solid 4 on the 360, it would take 7 discs. So it's just, I kind of look at my 360 now and think like, that's just an old brick at this point. It's embarrassing. And I think it's a bad thing, because I think it's held back a lot of this generation. Like with the Wii, people were just like, no, we just won't make our game on that thing. It doesn't have enough memory, it's not in HD, we just won't do it. So it didn't bring any games down. There were some horrible ports of games on the thing, or horrible ports of HD games, like the Call of Duty games on it. But it didn't affect the actual main HD games. But the 360 seems that it has. With the PS3 being so much more powerful and having Blu-ray, I think the 360 might be the reason why a lot of games are being dragged back down, and I think it would be the reason why most games are short, because they can't fit enough on. They have to have the HD graphics, they have to have the beautiful environments, but they have to keep it to a certain size on the 360, and I think that's kind of embarrassing. And you know, if Microsoft don't come up with something for the next generation, obviously they're going Blu-ray. I mean, I think that's kind of obvious at this point, but it'd be interesting to see what developers can do now that it's on a level playing field. The Wii U discs are 20 gigs, which are around the same as Blu-ray. And then you have the next two generations are going to be Blu-ray. So now it's going to be cool to see that developers can now push it as far as you can go. So I think with GTA 5 being 3 times bigger than Red Dead Redemption, you know, GTA 6 is going to be like 10 times bigger because it's Blu-ray and they can just put so much on the thing. So I'm really excited to be seeing that. So GTA 5 is coming out on September 17th. That has been announced for a good while now, and yeah, it's looking good, but it's also, GTA games are such, it's kind of an experience and a story experience as well. Most of Rockstar games are. So it's hard to kind of get excited for a story when I'm not actually experienced the story yet, if that kind of makes sense, you know. I can watch a trailer that teases part of the story, but you know, with a film you can see a clip and you could be like, whoa, that story looks pretty interesting. But I think with a video game, because you're actually playing it and experience the game, it's hard to get excited for a story-based game. And the reason you would be excited about a new GTA is the story. Or for me personally, you know, because gameplay-wise, probably not much is going to be added. There is going to be stuff added. I don't want to be seen slagging off GTA, but it's not going to be anything that makes me rush out and be like, hey, I got to get this one. So I'm going to get it. It looks really good, but you know, we'll have to see. So the next bit of news is Shadow of the Eternals, which, in case you don't know, this new company called Precursor Games, which was founded by the previous employees of Silicon Knights, are now making a spiritual successor to Eternal Darkness called Shadow of the Eternals. Now, why this is interesting is because they're not doing it in the traditional sense. Instead, they're doing the Kickstarter route. Now, they're not actually doing Kickstarter. Instead, they're doing crowdfunding. So what they're doing, they've announced the trailer, they've showed off a bit of gameplay on IGN. More details, I think, are coming out about the game. So they're asking people to go onto their website and donate or give them money. And then obviously you get all the different perks. It's exactly the same as Kickstarter, but for some stupid reason they didn't use Kickstarter. They wanted to make their own dumb site, which I really don't understand. Kickstarter is a really great place to promote your games, and but the odd thing about this is that they want $1.5 million. That's so dumb. I don't know why you would ask for that much. That's so ridiculous. And the reason why it's ridiculous is because they've already got a lot of stuff up. They showed off some gameplay, they showed off a trailer, they've already got the Crytek engine, because they're using Crytek Engine 3 for this. They've already got that up and running, they already got a lot of stuff down. And then they're saying that they want $1.5 million, and it's going to get released as episodes, so I don't know what... I think, from what I can tell, they want $1.5 million for this initial episode, and then later on they'll want slightly less, or they'll just see how well the sales go. But this is so stupid. So first of all, I've already donated. I did give them money. I gave them $25, as the Americans like to say, and that was like £16.25, I think. And then that gets me the first 6 episodes for free, you know. Well, obviously I paid for them, but I get the first 6 episodes that get released. So I guess the 1.5 million is for all the episodes, but it's so weird to do it like this, because that's so much money. I don't know if any other game has ever asked for this much money. And then their reasoning behind it is that in this current day and age, there's no way they could really get any real funding or publisher support. And that just kind of sounds like, I don't want to slag these guys off, but laziness, that maybe they could. Because the cool thing about this, and the reason why I actually ultimately ended up, you know, giving them money towards it, is because it's coming out on the Wii U and the PC. So I quite like to, you know, get it on the Wii U and play it there. It's part of the reason why I donated or gave money to Shovel Knight and Chasm, because I can play them on the Wii U. But this game, it's just, that's so much money, I can't kind of get over it. They're not going to make it. They're just not going to get that much money. No one is going to give them that amount. They're going to need actual proper investors. If that's how much they need proper investors. But the odd thing is that it seems like they could have gone to Nintendo, and maybe Nintendo could have helped them out. I want to see a bit more honesty with this kind of thing, because they say, even though with these whole Kickstarter projects and things like that, it's meant to be more, you're connected more with the developer, there's more of a community sense in there, but there still seems to be a bit dishonesty with the whole thing. So guys, we really want to make this great game, and we really want your support, so give us some money and we'll make you a great game, and the community is going to be a great thing. But then I want to know what's the real reason, what's the details of why they needed to do this. They say that they couldn't get publisher support in this day and age, but I don't think that's true at all. I think it's that Silicon Knights was such a terrible developer that nobody will invest in them rather than invest in the idea of Shadow of the Eternals. But I think if they went to Nintendo and said, hey, listen, we got this new game, it's a sequel to Eternal Darkness, which Nintendo published. They published Nintendo Darkness and Miyamoto helped on it. Like, Miyamoto said, hey, to make it more realistic, or to make it more engaging, have the character actually look of things of interest as you're going through the environment. So Nintendo published that game and actually did help with it. And they also they were involved with the Twin Snakes, which Silicon Knights also made. So I think they should have gone to them. And I just want to know why. Like, did they go to Nintendo, or did they just think, nah, we won't bother? Because in case you don't know, Silicon Knights made Eternal Darkness, which people loved. Twin Snakes, which did alright. It's a remake of Metal Gear Solid 1. It's going to do pretty decent. But it apparently wasn't a great remake in terms of remakes. And then they made 2 Human, which sucked. And then they made X-Men Destiny, which sucked. And I might be forgetting another game they made. But yeah, so pretty much I think everyone has lost faith in this development team. So they were like, well, if we're going to make this game, we need to ask for money. But we actually want to make it a AAA title. So we now need a stupid amount of money. So it's kind of a bit silly, and I have to, it's only a month that this is going on for, so maybe I'll eat my words by the end of it. But if you're interested in it, go to precursorgames.com or whatever, go check it out, go see it. But my thoughts on the game itself and on the gameplay is that it doesn't look great. I don't know why I gave them $25, but it doesn't look great. Eternal Darkness, it wasn't that scary, but it was really creepy, and there were some things, and the way they handled certain things were just it was just kind of creepy. And then there was a few proper scares in there, but yeah, it was just kind of a creepy it was just off-putting to play, an off-putting environment that you were in. And then I looked at this, and it looks like Fable. It looks like Fable 3. Even the monsters, they showed off these monsters, and they looked like, I can't remember what they were called, but those werewolf kind of thing, Balverines. They look like Balverines from Fable. So it's completely the wrong tone. There's nothing about it that looks creepy. Everything looks detailed. Everything is well lit. It's not good. It's just Fable 3. It's really odd. So I'm hoping they're going to reveal some more stuff that actually hints more towards horror than fantasy action adventure, and it should. They haven't really revealed that much about it, but they did show off 9 minutes of kind of gameplay and cutscenes, because at the end of the cutscene they were saying that, or the guy behind it was saying that with Eternal Darkness they were limited, which is why a lot of the game was set in corridors, which is a really good thing. You want the game to be set in corridors. And then they're like, well, now with this extra power, we can have outdoor environments. And it's just like, no. It's a horror game. The only horror game that can pull off outdoor environments is Silent Hill. And Silent Hill hasn't been good for years. So I don't know what they were thinking. Because you land in this pit, and then the whole thing kind of falls away. And it reveals this big hellish place with all this lava, and then there's this big tower with an eyeball. And it's just no, none of that is unsettling or creepy. If you look at an Eternal Darkness and you look at Mantarok or whatever that flesh god was called, it was kind of a bit silly, but overall it was still creepy and unsettling, especially if you were playing it. But with this, it's just kind of like, oh, you can't just have a big pillar with an eyeball on it and expect it to be creepy. You can't have lava. You know, seeing all that lava made me think more of Aladdin than anything creepy and unsettling. So, I mean, I'm hoping the final product is a lot better, or they get the tone right, and maybe they're not going for creepy, but they're saying it's meant to be psychological horror, or it's meant to be like action adventure horror, you know, which was Eternal Darkness. So I don't know, we'll have to see, but at this point in time, it's Fable. It's so Fable. It's kind of embarrassing. So the last thing I'm going to talk about in this podcast is The Sims 4 has been announced for 2014 release. Again, this seems to be the podcast of, oh, it's a new thing and a new entry, but how can you be excited for it? Because it's going to be, you know it's going to be standard, or you know what's kind of coming. And The Sims 4, yeah, does anyone care about The Sims anymore? Does anyone with male genitalia care about The Sims? Because I used to play The Sims a lot. I played The Sims 1 for a decent amount of time, and then I had Sims 2, which was really great, and I invested a lot of time in that. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really great game, a really cool kind of PC time killer sort of thing. But then by the time it came to The Sims 3, I was just like, well, I'm done. I'm just not going to do that again. You know, there was nothing in Sims 3 that made me think, oh, I got to get that game. You know, the whole appeal of The Sims is just controlling their lives, so the stuff they kind of add to it is just like, that's pretty cool, but who really cares? So I dropped out of The Sims with The Sims 3, and it's kind of interesting that The Sims 4 is coming out, because I think this is going to be the game that kind of sinks them a bit. Because The Sims 3 did really well, despite, you know, I didn't like it or didn't care about it. But The Sims 3 did sell a lot, and all the expansion packs did sell a lot, and made a lot of money for EA. So it's, you know, it's not a surprise that The Sims 4 is coming out. But I think it might be the case of, if they don't add in a lot of cool stuff, or make this Sims actually different and actually have a lot more to it, then I think this is going to be the game that kind of sinks them a bit, or sinks the franchise a bit like Command & Conquer, you know. Like with the Command & Conquer games, I think the last big one was Tiberian Wars, or that was the last one I cared about, because I had the Kane's Wrath expansion pack, and then afterwards it was kind of like, yeah, only the hardcore Command & Conquer fans really cared about it. Oh, you could argue Red Alert 3 was that game, actually. Red Alert 3 was the game that kind of sunk it, because Red Alert 2 is the best Command & Conquer, and then Red Alert 3 kind of wasn't as good as that, so it kind of made the whole genre, or the whole franchise disappear, I should say. So I think with The Sims 4 we can kind of expect a similar thing, but once again, once you get the casual crowd, you've got them. They're going to go and get that game. You know, Wii Sports is kind of a big one. Just Dance, people, they get the new Just Dance, you know. The casual fans, their tastes in terms of what they like to play is casual and all that, and not as, you know, it's not fantasy RPG, it's none of that. But the way they buy games is exactly the same as the hardcore. It's like, oh, there's a new one coming out, oh, I'm going to get that, then they just play it for hours and hours and hours. That was always the thing that confuses me about casual gamers versus hardcore. They play games the exact same way. It's just that casual gamers, you know, they don't like as many games. That's the only real difference, I would say. You know, there are casual people that don't play games that much, and there are casual, you know, gamers that play them a lot. And then there was like hardcore gamers that don't play games that much, really. You know, from looking at Let's Players and on YouTube and just friends, you know, there's people who buy the hardcore games but don't play them that much. But I think that's kind of a whole other discussion, I suppose, casual and hardcore gamers. But yeah, so Sims 4, I have no interest in it, but it's coming out on 2014, and they're really going to have to step up their game if they're going to make anything that anyone cares about. So, with that, I think there's really nothing coming out this week. On May 10th in Europe, Persona 4 Arena is finally coming out, and I think that it's been out for months or maybe even like a year or two in other countries. So, woo, go us! And then The Walking Dead, the complete, you know, the Telltale games, the complete package with all the episodes on finally comes out on, proper retail disc. So that's pretty cool, I guess. But yeah, there's nothing that big kind of coming out, so I'm going to end off the podcast. Once again, I'm going to ask for feedback. I haven't really got any that good feedback because you guys have, I've got comments saying really nice things, and I definitely appreciate that. Thank you very much, but I haven't got any real concrete feedback. But then again, it's my podcast. I should really be... God, I've been holding in that cough for this whole half an hour, and at the last gate I mess up. But... So any feedback, of course, leave a comment. And next week is going to be a more proper podcast. I just thought I better get this one out just because there were some big kind of stories to talk about, and they were kind of worth talking about. And also because I think when I'm by myself, it's kind of hard to come up with a topic or have an interesting dialogue about a topic when I'm just me by myself, because it's just I make all my points about that gaming topic and then that's it. There's no arguing or discussion. So well, anyway, with that, I hope you've enjoyed this shorter kind of podcast anyway, and of course leave your comments and like and subscribe and do whatever you gotta do. So thank you very much for watching or listening, and I will see you next week.